You can spend hours sanding a piece of wood and still end up with scratches, rounded edges, uneven surfaces, and a terrible-looking finish. The problem isn't always the wood. Sometimes, you're simply sanding it the wrong way. Let's look at the biggest sanding mistakes woodworkers make. The first mistake is starting with the wrong grit. A coarse grit removes material quickly, while finer grits remove the scratches left behind. Start too fine, and you'll waste time. Start unnecessarily coarse, and you'll create deep scratches that take much longer to remove. Choose your starting grit based on the condition of the wood and the result you want. The second mistake is skipping too many grits. You don't need every grit available, but jumping from very coarse to very fine can leave deeper scratches behind. Move through the grits logically, and make sure the previous scratches are gone before moving on. Another common mistake is pressing too hard. More pressure doesn't necessarily mean faster sanding. It can wear out the abrasive, create uneven surfaces, and generate unnecessary heat. Let the sandpaper do the work. Keep the sander moving, and use controlled pressure. Another big mistake is sanding unevenly. If you spend too much time in one area, you can create low spots. This becomes especially obvious after staining or finishing. Keep your sanding consistent across the entire surface. And be careful with edges. Power sanders can round over a sharp edge surprisingly quickly. If you want crisp edges, slow down near corners and edges. Another mistake is using worn-out sandpaper. When the abrasive stops cutting effectively, you may start pressing harder without realizing it. Replace the paper when it's worn or clogged. You'll often get better results faster. Dust is another problem. Sanding creates a huge amount of fine dust, and that dust can clog the abrasive and hide scratches. Use proper dust extraction, and clean the surface between sanding stages. For final hand sanding on solid wood, follow the grain. Cross-grained scratches can become extremely obvious once you apply stain or finish. And finally, don't assume the smoothest possible surface is always the best surface. Different finishes have different preparation requirements. Some stains can behave differently on very finely sanded wood, and some coatings require a specific surface profile for good adhesion. So follow the preparation instructions for the finish you're using. The goal of sanding isn't simply to make wood feel incredibly smooth. The goal is to create a clean, consistent, properly prepared surface. Use the right grit. Progress logically. Don't press too hard. Protect your edges. Replace worn sandpaper. Control the dust. And choose the right sanding tool. Do that, and your finish will have a much better foundation. What's the biggest sanding mistake you've ever made? Rounded an edge? Left deep scratches? Used the wrong grit? Tell me in the comments. And subscribe for more practical woodworking tips, tool comparisons, and DIY projects. Thanks for watching.